Hey everyone, welcome to the next video. This is for today, which is Friday, March 27th already. We are on week 2, day 3 assignments. So I'll give you guys a little bit of time to find your math things. If you haven't grabbed them already, you will be looking for 2 worksheets. They both say week 2, day 3. The one is the rules for making ratios. It has the 3 circles with the rules. And then the second one is the worksheet, the practice worksheet, which is the ratios and equal ratios worksheets. So they look like that. So go ahead and pause the video and find those worksheets and grab a pencil. All right, so hopefully you have everything. If not, just pause the video a little bit longer and grab what you need. We're going to review a little bit with the rules for making ratios. When we were last in school, we talked about different types of ratios, and you guys were doing really good with this. Everybody was able to identify the 3 ways to write them. So that's the focus of today's lesson. So we have 3 ways. So we use the word to. Use the word to, T-O, okay? That is way 1. Put a little 1 in front. That's one way. A second way is to write as a fraction. Right, as a fraction. And the third way, remember, was to use a colon. That was those 2 dots. So the colon was those 2 dots, if you remember. So they're the 3 formats, okay? So looking at the rules sheet there, we have a couple examples. 5 reds to 4 blues. Okay, you're comparing how many reds to how many blues. 9 to 6. Just using the word to, T-O, to compare 9 to 6. 12 to 1. So there are 3 ways that the worksheet shows. 3 examples rather, for the word to. Next we have the example with fractions. So to use that first one, 5 reds to 4 blues, they're just writing it as a fraction. 5 reds, 4 blues. Or you can do it by numbers. They did it with words, which words, remember, words still mean ratio. So they literally put the word, switch the pen here, the 5 reds to 4 blues. Okay. Whoops. 4 blues. Okay. But you could have also written like this. 5 reds to 4 blues. That would have been correct as well. I would have accepted that. Okay. But it's still meaning a ratio. Okay. Then our other one was 9 to 6, which they just showed us a fraction. 9 to 6. Remember that fraction line means 2. And then the third example was 12 to 1. Again, just writing it as a fraction. 12 to 1. Just comparing. That's all they're doing. And then the third way was using the colon. Okay. Erase. So the colon, remember, is those 2 dots. Okay. So 5 reds to 4 blues. So again, in using the word form, we have the 5 reds, colon, dot, dot, 4 blues. Okay. Again, I would also accept this. The number 5 reds, dot, dot, the number 4 blues. I would accept either one. Because that means the same thing. Okay. 9 to 6. Okay. Again, they gave it in word form. The number 9 to 6, which is also acceptable as 9 to 6. So this means the same thing. And then lastly, 12 to 1, which is simply 12 our colon 1, 12 to 1. All right, so they're the three forms. So now going over to our worksheet here, you're going to be doing that on this worksheet. You're going to write the ratio, ignore where it says the simplest form, okay? You don't have to worry about writing it in simplest form. Just give me the ratios. We haven't done the simplest form with the reducing yet. I just want to see the three formats in that. So the first example compares cups to knives, okay? So you would count up how many cups there are. Now, just know in the example, they reduced it, okay? So because I'm not looking for the reduced answer here, and I'm, allowing you not to do the reduced, we have, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cups, okay? So one of our ways would be 10, 2, and then we got how many knives? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. 10 to 12. That is one way, okay? But again, they want it written in three ways. So another way, the colon 10 to 12, or the fraction 10 to 12. So they're the three ways I want to see, okay? Again, don't worry about simplifying them. If you do, great. But if you don't worry about it, okay? I'm only looking for the three formats. That's all I'm focused on here. Be careful what we talked about. Make sure you grab things in the right order, okay? Because as you get down in there, like if you look at number 6, spoons to knives. So you have to go down to the end of the list, count up how many spoons, and compare it to how many knives. Make sure you put the spoon count first, okay? Because if you flip-flop it, it's talking about two different things, okay? We want to compare spoons to knives, not knives to spoons. So just make sure you're following the format, okay? So that was for what you're going to do for 1 through 10. For 12 through 19, you're going to write three ratios equal to the given ratios. That was writing equivalent ratios. So let me get a new screen here. So this was for equivalent. Get rid of that. There we go. So this is for equivalence. This is one of the last things that we were talking about before we had to depart. Equivalent ratios. Okay. You might remember doing the box for the equivalent ratios. Okay. It does not matter to me what format you use. Just think of fractions. If I'm writing equivalent ratios, I can either increase them or decrease them. Okay. So I'm going to take the first one here, 1/8. To increase, okay, I'm going to times it by the same number. I'm just going to pick a small number. Don't go crazy with the numbers, okay? Don't torture yourself. Keep them small. Keep them with numbers that you know maybe you don't need a calculator for, all right? So 1/8. Now I'm going to multiply it. If you notice, it's the same number, top and bottom. It must be the same number to make it equivalent. Equivalent means equal. So I'm going to multiply straight across our 2 and our 16th. That's one equivalent ratio, okay? So you have to come up with three equivalent ratios. So I'm going to do it all over again, the 1/8. And I'm just going to go, let's say 3/3. Multiply 3, 24. There's another equivalent ratio. So that's 2. I got to do one more. I want to jump up a little bit. Let's do 10/10. Okay? Just to show that you can do that. So we have our 10 over our 80. Each of those examples are equivalent ratios. Because if I work backwards, okay? Take the first one, the 2/16. Okay? If I divided that by the 2/2, it'd get me back to the 1/8. So they're equivalent. I can increase them or decrease them by using the same number. Okay, the same thing with 3/24. If I was dividing it by the 3/3, which is the greatest common factor, okay, we would get down to the 1/8. And the same thing on the last one, the 10/80 over 80. If I divide it by 10 over 10, I'm going to get back to the 1/8. So they're making equivalent ratios. So you're going to do that on all of them. Again, you can increase or decrease them. My suggestion would be on the larger ones, like 14 and 15, maybe decrease them. Find a number that goes into both. Let's do one of those together so you guys can see it. So let's just go to number 15. I'll do 15. So we have 200 over 300. Okay. So you may or may not need a calculator, but think I'm decreasing it. Okay. So if I'm decreasing something, that means I'm dividing. I want to find a number that goes into both. Okay. They end in zeros. Zeros are even. So I could divide by 2. Okay. So if I divide 2 into 200, I'm going to get 100. Okay. 2 into 300, I'm going to get 150. That's an equivalent ratio. Okay. Because if I think opposite, going from the small back to the large, I'm multiplying, I'm going to get back to what I originally got. Okay. I'm going to take again, because I have to come up with 3 examples. 200 over 300. I'm going to think division again. So I know that all my numbers that end in 0, I could divide by 10. As long as I do the same at the top and the bottom, it's going to be an equivalent. So when I divide by 10, all I'm doing is really taking off. There's this 1 0 each in 10. All I'm doing is taking off a set of zeros. So here's my equivalent ratio of 20 over 30. I'm just using my multiples of 10s. Okay? To reduce that. Okay? I want you to think of the third one for that. Alright? So you guys have a few good examples there. I am going to go there. They give you one with decimals in it. Okay? 18 and 19 has decimals. I'm going to do one of those examples. I'm going to do one example for you, just so you guys can see it. And then I'm going to hold you responsible to come up with the other 2. So here we go. What we got? I'm just going to do number 18, the first example. 1.6 over 4. Just because it's a decimal does not change the process. I'm going to increase it. Okay, it's a small number. I'm going to increase it. So if I multiply it by 2, let's say. Well, I know 4 times 2 is 8. That's a no-brainer. I can do that one in my head. So 1.6 times 2. Oh, if you don't have a calculator, here we go. Off to the side. 6 times 2, 12. Carry my 1. 2 times 1, 2 plus 1, 3. But I have that decimal. I got to bring it in one spot. So it would be 3.2 over 8. That would be one equivalent ratio. So you see the process is the same. Doesn't matter if it's a large number, a small number, a decimal, the process is the same. So you need to come up with 2 more examples for number 18, okay? Because they want 3 ratios. And then the last part is 2 word problems, which I will do, and I will read to you. So if you need a moment to get caught up, you can pause the video, or you can finish listening to the video, and you can always go back to it if you need to. So number 20 says, Lewis has 4 dimes, 6 quarters, and a penny. Write the ratio of quarters to dimes in 3 ways. Again, don't worry about simplest form. Okay, it says simplest form, but don't worry about simplest form. So you are writing the ratio of quarters to dimes in 3 ways. Okay. If you need to pause the video to do it, you may do so. I'm going to go ahead and read number 21. Marie has 3 pennies, $2, and 4 nickels. Write the ratio of pennies and nickels, $2, in simplest form in 3 ways. Again, don't worry about the simplest form. So you're focused on writing the pennies and nickels in a ratio in 3 ways. Okay. So hopefully, guys, this video helped you. refreshed your memory maybe on a concept that we were just learning before we had to leave. So if you have any questions, you can always leave one down in the comments. You can always email me, or you can contact me and leave me a message, and I can always get back to you. All right. Hopefully all is going well. And since it is a Friday, I want you guys to have a great weekend and stay healthy and stay safe.